full board vote to acknowledge our approval of those minutes. Because otherwise we are a subgroup of 4.
Okay.
And no matter,
So we have to be David and I.
well, it'll be the whole group of us.
Okay, acknowledge the.
Yeah, it's not a unanimous approval, it just acknowledges from all of us that we had an emergency meeting and it was reported back effectively to the full board.
So do you want a motion to do it, or you
Sure.
just do? Okay, so you want to state the
Someone
motion?
who wasn't at the meeting should make that motion. We're gonna do, I think process is really important. So we're gonna follow, if anyone wants to follow along at home, as they say, it's Robert's rules. So the motion is properly made by someone who was not at that meeting, but we can all vote on it.
I move to acknowledge the board vote of the approval of those minutes of September 13th.
And I will second that motion. Is there any discussion? So all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Joe. September 30th? And just, people are just asking at this, just to let parents know too, all the minutes are posted on the website after they've been approved. So. So I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes of September 30th.
I move to accept the September 30th. Second?
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Can I just make a quick correction that
Please.
tonight is the 5th of October, not the 7th.
Where are you?
On the
front of the
agenda.
Oh, okay.
To stay legitimate.
Thank you. Okay, county enrollment is the next thing on our agenda, which agendas are also posted on the website.
And after that, maybe suggested that on the agenda that we move I put the update on commissioners list at the bottom.
You want to
But
move
actually,
that?
yeah, I think if it comes
Okay.
in right under enrollment, basically everything else
Will
fits
make
in.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Actually, before we move on that, I would just like to add one item to the agenda, and that is just a statement about the superintendent search in Gloucester at the end of the meeting, if that's fine.
Enrollment when you're ready.
Enrollment, you'll remember that it's actually hard to believe that it feels like a long time ago, but just a little over a week ago, we moved into these buildings at 5 o'clock in the morning and had our first day of school at 8:20. And we opened with 64 students. Today, we had 76 students.
Voting with their feet.
The one thing that I absolutely must do, if you don't see it by Thursday in the paper, then absolutely, Sandy, call me on the phone, push me, you guys. We have to get the advertisement into the Gloucester Daily Times and the other local papers for our next lottery, because we've actually got growing interest for this year, and so make sure I get it done.
I'll call an email and text you. We've had yes.
Anything else you want to say about enrollment, Tony?
Looks good, and it's just so much fun to see so many students out playing in the classes. It's just great. Last week, Kathleen was here, and I heard voices singing, and I thought, you know,
Joyous.
that makes it all worth it right there. So it's great.
Tony, do you mind just going through, if you have it, a rundown of, you know, so we know which classes are still, is it still lower than 6 and 7?
Yeah, it's a
Is there
breakout.
going to be a waiting list at 4 or 5, given, you know, enrollment numbers, or?
You know, I actually had it stuck on here, and now I don't see it. Oh, there it is. We have 17 in 4th, 21 in 5th, for a total of 38. And we have, is that right?
Yeah, that's, yeah, look, this, that is not, so I think you're still okay there.
Yeah, that's right. And then 26 in, sorry, thank you, Joe.
No, that's fine.
I'm good to have her around.
We went to the same elementary school.
Who did better in math?
Tony's got more hair.
That's because I'm not figuring it out.
Back and forth.
So 6th grade, we had 26, and 7th grade, we had 12, for a total of 76.
Okay,
So,
and so the total number we can take in 6th grade is?
30,
Is it 39?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's up there. So we actually have room in all except for 5th grade.
Yeah, 6 and 7. And the, and do you have names now for the lottery, or are you done?
We have to, for the next lottery?
Yeah.
We do have some names that have come in. They're in 6th grade and in 4th grade. So, and Sandy, you want to know 7th graders? And we're like, oh, absolutely.
What? Okay, thank you. Okay, so we want to move to the commissioner's list at this point, so we're moving that up on the agenda. And Tony has very nicely put this on the calendar. I was going to suggest that we actually go through each item and figure out how we're addressing them. But we can also go through it by date as well. The updated school leadership plan is actually due today to the board, so I see that on the agenda, so we'll get to that next.
So the updated school leadership plan actually requires a conversation, I think, with regard to what they're actually asking is how will the duties that were to be performed by the head of school, Jane O'Connor, how will they be handled going forward? And so I brought just the description of the head of school's work and thought that I would just read some of that, and then we can have a discussion about how we might see that mapped out going forward and open it up for some discussion for the board. The head of school shares responsibility with the executive director for the educational leadership of the school. Head of school is responsible for all areas of the daily implementation of the educational program. The head of school oversees and supports the faculty with regard to the daily implementation of the academic program, and is responsible for the ongoing development of all teachers and students. The head of school reports to the executive director. All teachers have a direct report to the head of school. Direct responsibilities include, but are not limited to the following: directing, coordinating, and managing the day-to-day implementation of the educational program from internal schedules to school-wide events, managing the disciplinary action with students, informing and sometimes including the executive director when significant issues occur, overseeing tracking and achievement of grade level benchmarks, overseeing the tracking of academic performance and individual student profiles, overseeing communications with families regarding achievement and events and discipline. The point person for faculty and parents on issues among personnel or parent and teacher. Serving on and overseeing the student response team, and that would be the special education director, school nurse, and any of the teachers, those that have a daily interaction with students. And curriculum development team, building the projected budget for program and teaching for the year. Working with the curriculum committee to oversee the implementation of internal professional development initiatives, including weekly meetings and professional development days. Other responsibilities include the family student handbook, faculty handbook, policies and protocols for supporting students who are at risk academically or behaviorally. Chair the hiring committee for all teaching positions and participate in interviewing all prospective employees. The hiring committee makes a recommendation to the executive director, who has the authority to hire and fire. Facilitate the planning and implementation of the orientation and training for all teachers, full-time, part-time, and substitute, students and parents. Develop the draft calendar for the year and special orientations. That's the position.
So I think at this time, rather than, we're not necessarily going to look at a job description of behavior, but it's more of a plan. You know, what does the organizational chart look like? And we have budget after this, which is maybe a funny order, because we can plan all we want, but if it's not in the budget, we can't do it. So I think we maybe need to have simultaneous conversations about the budget and what the leadership plan will look like.
Well, both of these can actually be voted on Thursday. So getting clarity on what we're trying to do, I think, is going to be important. And we can put it into the proposal for an actual vote on Thursday's meeting.
What dates enrollment does the budget actually cash in at?
Yeah, they come in quarterly.
Can I just make a suggestion, since we're already moving to budget?
Yeah.
Do you want to just go to budget and then we'll come back to this? Because I think this is influenced by budget unless somebody has.
But if on the agenda, we're looking at the commissioner's list, they've asked us for a plan.
Right.
The plan's pretty straightforward. We've already implemented it. Jane's duties have been delivered to Tony.
Right.
And occasionally the teachers, depending on the situation. It's actually kind of a silly question to ask us, but that's the answer to the question. Going forward, assuming we approve the budget, there is room in the budget for this role to be refilled. That's a separate, how we do that, who does it, in what sequence is a separate question. But to go through these and to continue going through these as an item on the agenda, the first step is to say, well, what the heck were Jane's duties? Now that we know what they were, because effectively that's what the job description was, many of which had not accrued yet.
That's
We hadn't
right.
gotten there yet. We weren't open. We didn't have a hiring committee for the
Right.
faculty. We didn't, I mean, there's a number of these things that didn't even apply. So as far as putting a plan together for the commissioner, I'd say you've pretty much got all the components of it. It's probably takes a memo form, and if we can take a look at something on Thursday that reflects
Those
what we
pieces.
already know,
Right.
then that's, how am I doing?
Yeah, so I think just to summarize, I think what you're saying is our current plan, and it's unclear whether he's asking for our current plan or what we might be planning down the road, but the current leadership plan as it stands is our leadership is a executive director. That's the leadership plan. We also have a special education director as well, which I think is included in the leadership plan.
I don't think that's the plan. The plan would add a head of school. We're doing certain things now, but it's not a plan.
Okay, so
The plan is what we're
what we
going to
have
do.
now and where we plan to go.
That's right, so what they've asked us, I think, and I'm looking for verbiage, and this is almost impenetrable.
No, it's, you know what, if you look at Tad's motions.
Well, I'm looking at the letter from
Okay.
the commissioner, and for the life of me, I can't find the wording in it, but I believe what it says is, what are you doing about the fact that ahead of school